Boogie Okoyemai is a spokesperson to the governor of Edo State, Senator Monday Okpebolo. Boogie, good morning and welcome.
Good morning. Great to be with you guys in flesh.
It's good to see you in person.
After several virtual engagements.
After the argument over the governor's promises that I see double stand.
We are working on 2.5 million.
It will not happen. It will not happen.
We are working on it.
Tell the governor.
You agree with Jeffrey that it will not happen?
I'll keep laughing even when we achieve it.
Just tell the governor it will not happen.
Okay.
I will tell him, oh, I was wrong on TV.
Prophet Jeffrey, we'll confirm your anointing.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. Thank you.
Let's talk about how the state is receiving this move about state police. I know the governor is a big fan of the president. I talk so much about him. But, you know, we've engaged senators, we've engaged stakeholders. We're trying to engage as many subnationals as possible. We're getting signals from the speakers of those houses of assembly saying they are going to go right away to endorse this so that it becomes part of our ground norm. But as a spokesperson of the governor, how is the state receiving this news?
Well, of course, the governor is very excited about it because the truth is a lot of states already practice a style of state policing already, because I mean most states already have their local arrangements, you know, because the truth is the police force as it's presently constituted can really not meet, you know, the necessities of the security challenges that we face today. Edo State, for example, Governor Monday Okpebolo has the successes we see today in Edo State from crime management efforts as a result of specific grassroots targeted strategies that the governor has initiated and has established. You know, the challenge all along has just been the limitations to how far these arrangements can go. Like in Edo State, the governor has, reconstituted, revitalized, and, you know, properly set up the Edo State Security Corps, which basically carries out some of these responsibilities in conjunction and cooperation with the Edo State Police Command. But of course, there are still several limitations that hopefully this law and this bill that has been passed will address. So it's a welcome development for leaders like Governor Monday Okpebolo, who already have designed a security strategy and security structure that is grassroots based. So this law further empowers him, you know, to expand on those efforts. So it's a welcome development for the governor.
Although, you know, I don't agree with him on this 2.5, but there's something he said the other day that was very cheery to hear when he said, I think there was a video that was circulating, when he said he's going to work with the judiciary such that there can be some level of accelerated hearing. So if you found guilty of maybe kidnapping or terrorism in Edo State, for instance, and it's going to be legislated in the state, it's not going to waste time in signing the death warrants, because a lot of governors shy away from signing death warrants. He went as far as saying, not just that you sign your death warrant or the person's death warrant, you'll make sure it happens on Ring Road. So talk to us about what is already happening. Was that just rhetoric or something is already going on?
So we're very happy in Edo State for the attention that whole, on Sunday, a woman was kidnapped in the heart of the city on Airport Road, Vegetable Market. That was a very sad one. And the governor immediately gave that directive that these people must be apprehended. And within a day, 24 hours, they were caught, the woman was recovered, they were caught, and they were brought to book. We are excited for this attention it has attracted, because we have consistently said Edo State is one of the safest states in Nigeria. A lot of people argued with that.
Yes,
coupled with the...
That's debatable.
Coupled with the preponderance of a lot of fake news. You see a lot of materials on social media purported to have come from Edo State. Meanwhile, they didn't come from there. So we are happy that this particular incident has shown everybody that crime management in Edo State is very effective and the people are living safer. So what has the governor done? While we may not be able to give specific details into security strategies, but I'll give you two general approaches that the governor employed, that Governor Monday Okpebolo employed, that has produced the results that we are seeing. One is the consciousness that security must be everybody's responsibility. That's just the reality. The way security is taken most times now with Nigerians is this tendency of we against the government. Something happens, and everybody begins to attack the government. But security is everybody's responsibility because, firstly, security contributed, the society in some ways contributed to some of the things we're experiencing today. From the minute in our country where we began to celebrate ill-gotten wealth, where honest work was no longer emphasized, was no longer admired, when people with questionable income began to get chieftaincy titles, when people with questionable income began to get front row seats in religious gatherings. I mean, the failure of our morals is part of what has given birth to this. And it's important that whatever you are going to be doing must have the buy-in of the community. And that's something Governor Mondeokpebholo has employed strongly. Secondly, he approaches security from three basic, he practices what we call practical governance. Governance that is based on homegrown practical solutions for homegrown problems. And his simple approach to security management is in three folds. There's no society that is 100% crime-free. As long as you have deviance in society, there's a propensity to crime. But what Governor Okpebholo has done, his approach is in three directions. One, prevention. Make it very difficult for the crime to happen. Very difficult. So even if somebody has the thoughts of committing crime, he should find it very difficult to achieve that. Secondly, if at all he succeeds, the crime must be solved. There must be a solution to the problem, to the crime that was committed. And thirdly, after it has been solved, there must be adequate punishment. There must be adequate prosecution to give justice to the victims and to serve as a deterrent. And that has influenced all of the actions that he has taken, from equipping the police force and other security agencies with materials, vehicles, communication gadgets, funding, logistics, to setting up the Edo State Security Corps, initially with 2,500, and now he has given orders that 5,400 more be recruited to add to it. Several activities that he has taken in strong collaboration between security agencies. I dare say, and that's for any other person to counter that, there are few states in Nigeria where there is a strong collaboration between all the security agencies like it is in Edo State. The governor is one governor who holds security meetings virtually every day, physically, virtually, formally, informally. He's constantly on top of the security situation. And a proof to that was recently when the DSS issued a circular informing other security agencies that they had gotten reports that certain elements were planning to abduct students from a school. And the governor, of course, moved very swiftly with the security agencies to ensure that that was contained. The schools were shut. Manpower was moved in, enough surveillance. Of course, the governor has also relied heavily on technology. And when that was secured, the schools resumed. That shows you the kind of collaboration that happens. Now, to the main part, which is that community engagement, it's very, very key. Until you get the community to get involved in, they shouldn't see it as a government thing. You won't get the results that you want to get. And the governor has done a lot with that.
We'll expand on community engagement shortly. While the approach that you have talked about, it's difficult to argue with that approach. Let's also talk about another approach deployed by Governor Mondeokpebholo, which some would term the political approach, and many have condemned the politicization of security because we're talking about human lives. And I'm referring to a recent rally where the governor was saying that if you kidnap, will you stop the president from politicking, without quoting him copiously? And that was frowned upon for many reasons. And, it's also likened to the comment that the Senate president had made at an earlier event earlier in the year, likened to a comment that the president himself has made that, it's the work of the opposition and the opposition will not stop him from campaigning. And we keep asking on, this particular program, is there something that members of the administration know that we do not know? So is there something that Governor Mondeokpebholo knows about those who are responsible for kidnapping, who are politicizing it, that we do not know? And will he be willing to name those who are involved, perpetrating insecurity in the country?
Yeah. We must temper down on celebrating headlines. I mean, the governor was in a rally where he spoke for a long time, and one statement was picked out, and everybody hampers on that. We must get the context in which that statement was made. Of course, it was a political rally. He was talking about the achievements of the president. He was talking about the things that the president has done, and also made reference to some of the challenges. And without a doubt, anybody who denies that is not being fair or objective, that some of this insecurity has political undertones. It didn't start with this administration. I mean, some of the people who perpetrated some of these things in the past have come out to say this was how this thing started, this was why we did it, it had political undertones. All may not be totally political. There are some that are definitely economic, like we've seen in Edo State, but it doesn't change the fact that there are certain security challenges we face that have political undertones. It's from a regular playbook. Make the one polity ungovernable, two, stir up enough crisis that would discourage the people from looking in the direction of this candidate in the elections. It happens. So what the governor said, like I said, is don't pick that one statement.
Look in the direction of who in the election?
Of different candidates. Now this candidate is the one who sits.
Now you're getting very suggestive.
Yeah.
If the destination or the objective is to get the electorates to look in the way of the other candidates in the election, you're suggesting also that the opposition is responsible. So would you or your principal be willing to name these people who are responsible for deliberately making the country look ungovernable such that the opposition can get ahead in the coming elections? Those are very huge allegations because people are dying in their hundreds.
Yeah.
The record says Nigeria is the 5th most unlivable place in the world due to insecurity. So those are huge allegations. Would you, your governor, and the administration be willing to back these allegations up?
Like I said earlier on, it is common knowledge that some of these things have political undertones. It's not the governor's responsibility to announce security and say, oh, this is who's responsible. He has said what he has said. It's not different from what several other people have said. And if the people demand answers, I think the people should go to the right quarters, the police, the security agencies.
You are the spokesperson of the governor.
The governor
Your governor has made such suggestions. So we'll be asking you as well, because you have his ears. Don't you have the ears of Governor?
Yeah, my point is the governor is not the DSS director, DSS.
Oh, the governor is the
IG
chief security officer of Edo State.
Yes, in terms ceremonially, the governor is not in charge of security.
Not ceremonially, Mr. Boogie. You just said that Governor Kwevelo holds security meetings almost every day.
Yes.
So that is not a ceremonial activity. That's not a ceremonial position or issue of consequence. That is holding power in his hands.
So the point we always try to make, yes, the point we always try to make is that it's laughable, it's almost obnoxious that the president, the Senate president, the governor, all of these guys will know who is responsible, and they will still stick and say, we know, but we'll still go on with what we're doing. You get the drift.
Like I said, firstly, we must be careful about headlines. We need to get the context in which some of those statements were made. That's one. Two, that we say a situation has political undertones does not necessarily mean you might know exactly who did it, but you know the elements.
So why are you making the allegations that are unfounded if you don't know?
That's secondly. I mean, sometimes we don't give the police and the security agencies enough credit for the work that they do.
But that's not true. We do give them enough.
I said sometimes, and I'm not referring to you specifically. Some people don't give the security agencies. When criminals are arrested, interrogation is done. Questions are asked, details are gotten. They won't come to the public to reveal some of the information that they have gotten from these people for security reasons. People are interrogated. They explain where they get their arms. They explain how they got into this. They explain how they did whatever they did. And those are conversations that will remain within security circles to aid their operations. That's on one side. Like I was reiterating, the governor is governor of Edo State. He's not the IG of police. He's not the commissioner of police. It's not his responsibility to, his work and his responsibility to security is to the extent that his people are
maybe he has to
secured.
refrain or restrict himself to his state to talk about the policing in his state.
No,
because what you're saying is that he's had a lot of meetings. It was a political rally where he was making, of course, he's supporting the president. He has not hidden that. Yeah. And he was reinforcing that statement about all these guys who are trying to make this state ungovernable for the president. It's not going to happen. He said, even if you kidnap me and my deputy, we will still do what we have to do. So when you stand on the podium in public to make those kind of statements, that means you have an idea. If you don't have an idea, why are you making such allusion?
Of course.
And I'm not saying he's the only one that does it.
When you say he has an idea, I don't want us to overflog this. I hope I have enough time to still talk about the things he's done in the Edo State.
You have been doing that.
Yes, But one, like I said, it's a political rally. Two, it was a long conversation. You can't just pick one statement. You need to go and look at all of what he said that led to that point where he made that statement. And like I said, we are all public commentators, including the governor. He can make comments on things that are, but to ask him to specifically name who's responsible, that's a responsibility of the
is the administration,
agencies.
The ruling party, because all those who have made this similar comment or narrative around insecurity are members of the administration, the president, the Senate president, your governor.
Yeah.
So if they refuse to name names, are they covering up the opposition, those who are responsible in this administration? Because as they say, dogs don't eat dogs. Are they covering up members who are responsible for insecurity?
I reiterate once more, it is not their responsibility to provide the information you are asking for. I think what is most appropriate is IG of police, the DSS, the other security organs. Look at what this governor said. Look at what the Senate president said. Look at what you guys are the ones who are running security. What information can you provide? Firstly, how true is it? Two, if it's true, what have you done? So I think you should direct the questions to the right question.
But the
governor is not the one who tells you.
If anybody will be following up, if anybody will be following up on this, they will be asking the president to back up his allegations. They'll be asking the Senate president and your governor to back up their allegations, because they are the ones that have alleged.
I reiterate that even if they have that information, it's not their responsibility to provide it. There are authorities who are responsible.
The reason why we're going back,
we disagree with you. If you make such an allegation right here on the program, the DSS will come after you and ask you to back up that allegation.
When it's now time to announce the result of that investigation, it is the DSS that will announce it, not the government. To climb a podium or go on TV and say, from there. This is who's responsible for security, is this person that you want.
I want to move on from there, but the points, the back and forth we're having here is the fact that those of us who are journalists and I'm sure citizens are tired of politicians playing with us. That's what it looks like. As you said, it is not this administration. In past administration, they also will say the opposition. So it's like politicians take turn to make the country ungovernable for themselves. But we are the victims. So if anybody is trying to always say who is responsible, if you can't tell us who the person is, please don't say anything, so that we just leave the work to the security agency.
Public commentators, everybody has the right to speak about the country. I mean, if you can criticize the government,
some journalists will ask questions, and those who are public commentators also have the right to ask questions amid all of this. And so if there are allegations, as they say, he who alleges must prove.
True.
All right, so let's talk about, there's one particular area I'd like you to speak to as to what the governor, because you're here to speak for the governor, is doing when it comes to cybercrime. Aide was, will I say is, because you say he was. So the issue of cybercrime, I mean, Yahoo is a big issue in Edo State. And then the issue of cultism. Edo was notorious and is still being troubled by that incident. In fact, I think, was it Auchi? I've forgotten the exact. I don't want to quote what I'm not sure of. But you know what I'm talking about. So, since he took over office as governor of the state, this is a year plus now, what in specifics has he done, besides what you've explained, beautifully explained, in terms of cybercrime? Because it looks like more economic than even the other way around. And then the issue of cultism.
Community engagement. You must get the people involved in the fight by cooperation and by compulsion. The carrot and the stick. On one hand, you encourage them. And what's an example of what the governor has done in terms of getting the co-op? I mean, security in Edo State now, everybody is involved. The communities are involved. The security agencies are involved. The corporate organizations that function in the state, everybody is involved. Families, the churches, everybody is involved in security as it is presently. One of the things the governor did, which has been very helpful and been very novel in terms of cooperation, has been the see something, says the whistleblower policy. See something, say. The security agencies work with information. No matter how sophisticated a security agency is, even in the most developed clients, without necessary actionable information, they can't do much. So unless the people are willing to volunteer information, it becomes so. The governor initiated the whistleblower policy where anybody who provides actionable information that will lead to either the prevention or the solving of a kidnapping or any other violent crime will get 5 million naira.
Really?
Yes.
It should be in Edo State.
You should. But the thing is that if you come now, you will see, you may not make money because most of the criminals have run away. So you won't have information to give. Then for cultism, if you can provide any information that helps, solve a cult-related crime, it's 3 million naira. So now these cultists live within us. People know where they live. They know who that guy is. They know that's the guy who terrorizes. But the fear all along. But now with this added incentive, you are seeing people coming out.
Are they safe after they blow the whistle?
Of course. I mean, you can't initiate a successful whistleblower program if there's no concrete arrangement to protect, the providers. And the police officers, the security agencies also do very detailed investigation. The governor always adds that everybody be responsible for what you say. You can't say because you want to set somebody up and then there will be detailed investigation to get that. So that's on one side. Another thing the governor has done has been, of course, like I said, bringing the communities into the security networks. The governor is working with the hunters, he's working with the vigilantes in communities, he's working with the Edo State Security Corps, everybody. When I say at this point, we're having a situation in Edo State now where, of course, he amended the laws against anti-cultism and anti-kidnapping with stiffer punishments. That was what led to the statement he made where he said, if you are convicted of a violent crime, you will be killed, you will be hanged. He said, I will lead people to watch you, which takes us back to how we used to be. When children see something like that, it registers something in their mind against crime, and it's really been quite helpful. Even entertainers now, in fact, just a few days ago, I saw a musical video that somebody, an Edo indigenous abroad did, and I had to tell somebody to translate it for me because it's a language I don't speak, and he was saying, he was appealing to the youths and saying, please, I beg you, because one of the provisions of that law is that any property that was used in the planning or the committing of a violent crime that leads to death will be brought down. And he has done several. Everybody knows he's not joking about that. I mean, one of the, in quote, cult groups, one of the organizations that has been fingered a lot in some of those cult activities had their headquarters brought down in Benin City. I mean, everybody knew that he wasn't joking. Now you are having parents appeal to children. So like I said, that musician was saying, he was appealing to the youth that please stay away from crime. Don't get him so that the house your brother in Europe suffered to build will not be brought down. So that community engagement has been very, very helpful. Everybody in Edo State is involved in managing.
So we're watching a scorecard. We're watching and saying, like I said, the notoriety of Yahoo. That's
also the same.
And the issue of cultism. Edo State was notorious. Benin City, especially, notorious for cultism. We hope we can get it
quickly add, recently there was an incident where somebody was shot at the University of Benin main gate. I'm sure you saw that everywhere. If it was before, by now we should have been counting like 20, 30 people dead, reprisal attacks. Everywhere was quiet after. Nothing, which is the first time that.
Wish the government the very best. We're still watching and saying, and we want Nigeria to be safe. Exactly. We're not perpetrators of bad news, even though they say media likes bad news. But if somebody is doing well, we will commend. If you're not doing well, we will criticize you effectively. Boogie, okay, man. Coming all the way to Lagos.
Thank you.
Spokesperson to Governor Mondo Pavola, who I know will not give the president 2.5 million votes.
You wait now. We've set a target. The governor is very strong. He has set a target. So we should all, when people set targets, you encourage them. I don't know why everybody seems to be attacking the governor for setting a target.
How many votes did the president secure?
He has set a target. Encourage him and wait to see whether he will hit it or not. Even if he does not hit it, you should also, we all complain about low voter turnout. And somebody has set a target that in Edo they want to get 2.5. Why are you attacking?
Wait, what's the contribution of Edo to the 11 million votes that the president got for the presidential
We need to have a different program to have that conversation. But encourage people who set ambitious targets. You don't attack them. I don't know why the attack on the governor is.
I responded to the governor with facts and data. So thank you for coming.
Always my pleasure.
Thank you. We appreciate you coming to Lagos. Thank you.
Thank you.